Hey guys, welcome to another one of our videos. I'm the Worm, and this is the Proton. Today we are doing, well, nothing really. Nothing at all. We are going to sit here and flap. Well, partly anyway. But so yeah guys, general tradition in the flapping videos. Pause the video, go get your ice cushions or your donuts, get your cup of tea, glass of beer, wine, whatever you're drinking, sit your ass down. It's probably going to be about 2 hours.
You say that, we'll end it in 20 minutes now. You watch, bro. Be done. We have got some cliff notes. We'll have to stretch it out. You have to watch it at half speed. We have got some cliff notes, just things that we've randomly come up with off the top of our head without actually watching through over the 100 videos we've got now. Of stuff we said we was going to update you on, or we said, yeah, we'll let you know how it goes, and we just never have. So this is almost like our blog, if you like, but we do it once every blue moon as opposed to periodically, just because we never know what we're doing at any given point in time.
Every time we do one of these, we do say, oh, we'll try and do this every couple of weeks.
Never
It doesn't happen.
No.
We either get an influx of things we've got to post or review, or we just get to that point where, like today, it is swelteringly hot and we couldn't even bother to start recording until it was a little bit cooler, and it's now 10 o'clock. It's still hot.
Oh yeah, I would like to point out today's weather forecast. I mean, where we are, I don't know what it's like where you are, but I think the weatherman actually said it's something like 4 billion degrees today. And yeah, it was definitely warm. So anyway, to get on with the first thing that popped into my mind anyway when it comes to what we was going to update you with and flap about, which is something we actually mentioned, one of the first ones mentioned in our last update and flapping video, was the CE8 Clearo. Remember we said we was going to take it apart. We said that in the actual review of it, then we said in the update and flapping, and now we're saying it again. We have taken it apart. We just haven't posted the video. We did it a long time ago. We did it actually before we did the last update and flapping video.
We did it before we got this new camera, and we recorded it all. And we just got to that point where we just started getting an influx of loads of new stuff, and it fell on the back burner, and then it may have got deleted.
Did you delete it?
I think so.
Such a whore. Okay, well there you go. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, we did take it apart. It was exactly what we said it was in the original review. We said it was a silicone with a core around it, inside of a metal mesh sleeve, and that is exactly what it was. So I did take it apart in close up. We didn't actually do top and bottom of it, did we? No. We just did literally the close up. But it was going to be a big to e-cig wizard for that, and it still is. So. Basically, yeah, that is where we are as far as the CE8 goes. In terms,
I do want to say in my defence though, for deleting this video, we literally at the time we was actually saving every video that we actually uploaded, and this folder must have been about 80 gigs worth of recordings in there, both raw files and converted, plus the intros we had at the time. And it was a case of, do I want to fill through this? I checked the folder that said that hadn't been uploaded. I pulled a couple of videos that were out of that, but this was just still in the raw format, and it just kind of got deleted. So we just have to take our word that it was what we said.
Or buy one, take it apart yourself.
Yes.
Don't do that. Actually, just buy the 80 head. You get it for £2.50 and take it apart. Is what it is. Whilst we're on Clearo's e-bod.
Yeah, I bought an e-bod when I bought some other bottom coil stuff. Don't know if it was a official e-bod or not. I'm not going to name the site or anything.
It to have been from the site,
yeah, it's quite a trusted site, but I don't want to, just in case it's not or whatever. But the head that I got in it leaked. I did since replace said head with one that I know is official head. It fit in the device exactly the same, very smooth, very snug, and hasn't leaked since. But dodgy head did leak, so just be aware that some e-bods, not saying if they're official or not, I don't really know, to be perfectly honest, but if you do get a leak in one, change it with another head. If it is the head, then you're good to go, obviously. You ain't got to worry about it. It's not the actual e-bod itself with like vacuum or airflow or anything like that. It might just be your head, but you can re-wick them anyway, so you can fix that broken one anyway. I think that was it on the e-bod, wasn't it?
Wasn't listening to a word of what I'm just saying, sorry guys. I have no idea what was on the e-bod because I wasn't listening. I believe you did touch on something about it, whether you were unsure whether it was genuine or not.
Yeah.
Obviously, guys, I don't know if Kanga do one, but I know that Joytech do one of an official page of their distributors, because there's a lot of knockoffs claiming to be Joytech. So I know if you go to Joytech's website, you can actually see, and it will even
Did we have a look for one? before.
Very briefly, but nowhere near as much as we've.
No, we had like literally a Google search for it.
Yeah, once.
Check like the first 5 pages.
Got bored. But yeah, no, I know Joytech do one, so it'd even state every site that's selling either official or unofficial, and it'll tell you whether they're unofficial, whether they're complete knockoffs, or whether they're genuines. So I don't know if Karen got one of those. If they have, it's always worth buying genuine, especially seeing as most of these sites will charge you the same price because they lead you to believe they're genuine anyway. We have got a couple of vendors we know sell these trusted products, and we've mentioned before, so I'm not going to bother mentioning them again, but just be aware there's a lot of fakes out there, which is probably not something that you don't already know anyway. What else we got? Let's have a look. Should we start from the top, just work our way down?
I suppose.
Bammo.
Random item. Garlic mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. Random item at a random time.
That's the whole point of a random item.
I suppose. Well, look, you start clapping now.
What was you going to say? Did you pick one?
Vamo.
Vamo. Oh, the Vamo.
Vamo. Do you want to start or shall I start?
It's still a good mod. It really is for its price. Not knocking it in any way, shape or form. But we've had people on our Facebook group, if you're one of them, you'll know who you are, complain that the threading's gone on their 510. Mine has
sympathise with you.
Gone completely. You can sometimes screw.
I can sometimes screw certain devices in that slightly wider than others, and it happened to mine first. I had mine about a month more than you, and when it happened to mine, it was kind of like, that's probably my fault because the amount of abuse I put this thing through, if you're a regular watcher of ours, you will know what I've done to this, and the fact that it was on a bit wonky after I bunged a load of super glue and all kinds of craziness in there. So we just assumed it was a case of mine's going in a bit skew with and it's worn the threads, which is completely logical if you think about it that way, until a week later Worms did it, and then a week later a few of the guys on the Facebooks happened to them as well. I know a couple of guys have actually replaced the top, which is still a viable option for the Worm, because it's only I think about £6 from Stealthfake for a brand new top, and it's actually slightly improved on the original top, so that as it is, not a bad price to be honest with you, still if you include a spare head in it. But
no, I paid £28 for mine.
There you go. But just be aware that the Vamo threading isn't the best.
Treat it nicely.
We can still use ego threaded.
Saying that, I did get this cargo tank on this earlier firing.
That is one of the things.
But it was like that. It was like really off because I had to, because it's not actually threading at all. You can literally plonk it in, plonk it out. So I literally rested it in, turned it to the side, wedged it a bit, and it fired.
That is one of the things. Sorry, guys. But yeah, to make it aware with the Vamo, don't get me wrong, it's slightly changed my opinion a bit, but not by a lot. The Vamo is still a wicked little mod. It's still a lovely and cheap mod. You can still abuse the living hell out of it like I have, and it comes back and fights for more. And after all the abuse that I put this through, the only thing that's given up is the 510 on the top, which is a reflection by the looks of it on all Vamos and not just mine.
No.
I don't think that's not too bad. If they just improved that slightly, I'm not entirely sure what the material is. It looks like glass.
Mr. Proton's got the, you got the, what one did you get? The dark chrome one?
Black chrome.
Black chrome, and I got the obviously the chrome one. We don't know whether the stainless steel one actually has a stainless thread or not. If it is, it's probably going to be a lot more durable than this one, because the way you're looking at it, it looks like brass, coated brass.
Yeah, it does look like coated brass. If an all stainless steel one should be stainless steel, but then it's body that you're paying for the stainless steel. In now, I'd imagine they're using the same kind of connections. Are you trying to put it out?
No, I'm going to try and squeeze it and see if it can screw in there.
He's trying to
live mod. I'm literally got some grips and like trying to squeeze the actual body because it's only brass. Maybe I'm going to bend it in so it will, the screw threading will hold. Don't know. I'm going to give it like a couple of little squeezes and just see if we can get something in there. If it is, we fixed it live for you guys.
That's right, guys. Sorry, guys. You may notice one or both of us now and again glancing at the phone and or tablet. We did say on Facebook, and I quickly tweeted it as well, that we was going to do a video, and if you want to come along and ask us some questions, you're more than welcome to do so. Dan, the Dan's Juices Dan is actually talking to us on WhatsApp at the minute. I've looked at it, Worm hasn't. And he basically just said, I'm pretty sure I'm alright to say this, but basically he's just said that the post he just put on Facebook might get him in trouble at work. So he's deleted it. A little mozzie. So he's deleted it. But I said, no, that's cool. If you want to, you can have a little chat with us on here. And he is doing that. So basically, what he's just finished, I basically just said to him, no worries, you can ask this question as new. I don't actually. Did you ever mix that bacon shit? Dan, no, we still haven't mixed it. The smell was so atrocious that we haven't been brave enough. And to be honest with you, we haven't really done much mixing of any description recently because we've been working our asses off. And
saying that you said you was going to mix and toasted for yourself later.
Maybe we'll mix.
If we mix and toasted later, I'll mix some bacon as well at the same time.
We'll see how that goes. So that's question 1. In your experience, what are the best brand batteries?
Panasonics.
I have to retotally. I was going to say it, but I thought Worm's going to say AWs. Worm's got, what have you got? You've got a few AWs actually. He's got some AW Hymar. You've got the standard AW. But
so we'll get the batteries I've got.
Yeah, we've got a few.
Just give us a sec, guys. We're fiddling here. This is obviously a live question, and I've got a moth on me. I've got loads. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, between us, we have got loads. Okay, so brand batteries basically.
I know.
Honestly, coming out of his arse. We there? Yes.
Yes.
If you don't include my e-fest and some other random little cheap ones that.
Well, that's an e-fest as well.
Okay. All right. So basically, Dan just asked what are the best brand batteries. In our opinion, we are going to say the Panasonics. You get what you pay for. They were 11 quid each. They're lithium ions, high drain, 10 amp limit, which compared to even AWs and stuff is miles above.
Yeah.
For those who don't understand what the amps and that kind of stuff is,
but in comparison,
more is better when it comes to that.
I know this is an 18350, but if this was the equivalent 18490, which is not it's basically an 18500, but an 18490 in the AWs,
1100 mile.
1100. This is 2210 mile.
Indeed.
Same size.
I've got to say as well that I've got e-fests, 18650, 18350s. I've used Worms AWs, and I've got a couple of the Panasonics as well. And in a mechanical, you can tell more than you would in something like a Vama or Bavara or something like that.
It seems to stay at the higher end longer, doesn't it?
Definitely. It delivers that punch a lot better. It holds its power a lot better.
I have got the AW. To me, they're just the black AWs, but they just basically got more marring. The red ones have got a standard of 1100. These got 1500. But this is still killing it, and it's the same size. It's smaller.
Slightly smaller.
Slightly smaller.
And we want to point out as well, I believe you paid the same price for those batteries. £11 each or something.
£11 for 2.
No, 1.
The one?
1.
No, but I'll get 2 free.
You did get 2 free, yeah. That was eBay Amazon cock up.
Yeah, they basically sent me the flat tops, and I got
immediately sent a nipple top without even saying they was going to do it. So I've got the flat tops. Thanks for that, mate. But basically, yeah, in our opinion, Dan, Panasonic best batteries. We have actually been
4 mile as well.
In general.
But this e-fest seems to be pretty good. I would say it's slightly better than your standard crap batteries.
But they are quite expensive in e-fest compared to some crap batteries.
This was 11 quid.
That crap battery was
£5.
Exactly.
Same size. This has got I think it's 500 more mile, 600 more miles. Sorry, guys. So you pay for what you get when in terms of batteries, mods, drippers, everything. So don't go shy on your batteries because the better ones do perform better.
It depends on what you're using them in, though, to be honest with you. Because in something like a Vamo, you don't notice the difference between that little AW and e-fest. It's realistically the only time you ever really notice how much better a battery's performing, in my opinion, and I think we'll probably agree with this, is when you are pushing them in a mechanical. So when all you've got is literally you, your resistance, and your battery, and it definitely shows up more in the lower end of resistances. I mean, I'm not going to go into what this is just yet because it's coming up. But when you're pushing sort of sub-ohm cores in particular, that's when they really start to shine. Your e-fests will drain very, very quickly, whereas the Panasonics just keep going and keep going and keep going. Then they'll slightly slope off, whereas the e-fests
Plus,
should
you've got
be
the
good. Crap.
added bonus that these are an 18500, so your mod is going to stay quite small.
They do sort of 18650s of them Panasonics, but they're 2250 mile. You get 40 more mile for that extra 15 millimeter. I'm sorry, but my preferred size of mod is 18500 because it fits in your hand better than any other, in my hands anyway, better than any other size. The 18350 seems a bit small, and the 18650s is fine, but if I can get the same kind of thing with 40 mile less, but for less size, I'll take that all day long when you're only sacrificing a very small amount of milliamp.
Yeah.
So there you go, Dan. Hopefully that has answered that question. He's also said, what is all this hype around dual coiling? it just canes the battery and isn't all that much better. Yes
I agree.
and no. Worm agrees with you. Obviously, I'll let you go.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, on dual coils, yes, when they do work, they are better than a single coil. But the effort to get that dual coil working is not worth the effort. I could sit there and wrap probably about 40 or so Nova heads in the time it would take you to get a dual coil, if you've done it first time, working properly and tweaking it to work banging. Do you not agree?
With
You have to agree.
with a sensible head on, yes, but with a me being me head on, no. It depends on setup, totally. It depends on resistance, your ability to wrap coils to the device, how much if you've got an E-Fest battery with a Corolla or something like that, do you know what I mean? And you've tried to dual coil with 3 turns of 28 gauge cam when you're sitting around about 0.2 ohms. It can work, and when it does, you notice how well it works. But I can't deny what Williams just said. Unless you know what you're doing, it's going to take you a long time to set up. You're going to be a lot of misses. It's going to piss you off. There's no two ways about it. You're going to get frustrated. All I will say is, though, is you're not going to get to the point where you know what you're doing until you've come past that. No matter what way you're coming at it, if you want to get to that point, you're going to have to cross that bridge. It is as simple as that. I do want to point out that I got a bit bored earlier. And yeah, we'll actually saying that. Let me just make sure. There is another question Dan's asked, but we'll get onto that in a minute. Cause it's actually saying we're going to touch on anyway. I got a little bit bored earlier, and I played around last night after someone on Facebook mentioned twisting Canthal, and I thought, you know what, I'm bored, I might as well. So I put a bit of twisted 30 gauge Canthal in my K-Fun, 4 wraps, and it was performing just fine. And I kind of said to the worm, I might try and dual coil the K-Fun. If you haven't seen the little K-Fun light video.
Explain what else happened.
When?
With the 30 gauge twisted.
Oh, it did flood. Oh, it did flood, yeah. The K-Fun did flood. I'm not sure, again, I'm not sure if that's a reflection on the clear tank or not.
I think it's more a reflection on what you did. But
it may have been, but it was giving a little bit of juice up with a clear tank anyway. Sorry guys, pardon me. So
that was Dan again, sorry.
It is what it is, but in this at the minute, I got bored earlier. There's not a lot of room in the K-Fun, but I'll have a go. Never tried it before. In here is a 0.4 ohm dual coil. Dual coil. It is 3 wraps of 30 gauge on either side, inside the small chamber, inside the K-Fun. And I don't care what Worms just said. If you have a go, you can't.
No, this one is working.
And I'm not being funny, mate, but how many of my recent ones haven't worked?
9 million.
None have not worked.
What, dual coils?
Yeah, the iGo the other day, bang, straight away.
Yeah. It still wasn't amazing though. It still wasn't.
Yeah, but that was me trying to do a standard one. It was 1.9 ohms.
Yeah.
So we'll get onto that anyway. But you can't. It's undeniable. If you get them set up right, if you get them set up well, they can perform well. But yes, they are going to cane your battery, even if you.
And it's very throat hitty.
Really? I'm getting none of that. Even if you're running your standard, even if you're not doing stupid things like me, if you've got an iGo and you've got say 6 turns of 32 gauge on either side, giving you about 1.2, 1.4 ohms, and you're running on a variable voltage device, yes, it's going to kill your battery harder, because although you've got 1.4, 1.5 ohms, and usually you go 3.8 volts if you're me, 4.2. You've got to push it. It feels like you've just got to force power through it more. It feels like what should be a 4.2 volt coil or setup turns into 4.6, 4.8. So yes, it does kill your batteries quicker, and unless you've got it set up bang on, it doesn't seem worth the effort. It doesn't. I wouldn't recommend dual coiling to people that have no idea what they're doing, but then you're not going to know what you're doing until you try it. So if you really want to get into it, yes, there's going to be swearing, there's going to be a lot of pissing about, a lot of setups that don't work for you, and a lot of
a lot of recharging your batteries in between.
Yes, but you will then get the one that shows you how good it can be, and it will kind of get you to sway. I'm at that point where I'm kind of swaying, because I've always said the same thing. Dual coiling kind of seems like a pointless task. I only do it because I wrap really low resistance and I want to be a fog machine. If you're going for 1.2, 1.3 ohm coils, no, I still don't think it's worth the effort.
No. I do want to point out as well is when you're obviously, if you do want to try dual coiling and be dual coiling, and you want to get it down and that, I still don't think it's worth it unless you're going to be dual coiling a lot. If you're not, if you're just going to be wrapping one dual coil every couple of weeks, just stick with your single coil. It's going to give you less arse aggro, and like you're not going to be hairless or sitting in the corner with your padded jacket on, sort of thing, because it is going to drive you mental. I mean,
at times it's more the setup than anything else for you anyway. More pissing around with it and setting it up and getting it done. It's just, even when they worked really well, it's only been a case of Zeus kind of would have been better anyway.
Yes.
It's one of them, but then you haven't got to go out and buy a dual coil dripper or in order to dual. The K-Fun's not designed to do dual coils. I've dual coiled the A7, the DD8. I mean the iGo-L. I've pretty much run a dual coil in everything I can. So if you want to try it, you can do. But if you want to buy something that's designed to do it, if you've never bought what I would class, and you would probably agree, is the best dripper that we've tried consistently, which would be the Zeus or the A7. I know Worm's got the Baron, it's a lot more expensive, but honestly, you couldn't recommend the Baron over the Zeus?
Only in one circumstances.
That's because you can change
that. If you have a Provari and you want something that flush mounts on it and fits perfectly and seamlessly, that would be the only case, is if you wanted a dripper that was just slightly better than the Zeus and fits perfect on the Provari, and you have a Provari already.
But I mean,
if you just want a dripper that's going to be a banging, Zeus all day long. It's 11 quid.
But all things accounted, though, I still could, even if I had a Provari, I couldn't recommend the Provari over the Zeus, just because it cost, not the Provari, so the Baron. It costs more. The heads you have to buy if you want to recommend resistance, no resistance wire. Don't get me wrong, the quality's there and it does look banging, but to the general people who aren't like us, then we couldn't recommend the.
I would only recommend it if you're a Provari lover and you want something to fit onto your Provari,
or if you wanted a really good dripping experience but weren't a keen or strong coiler.
Yes.
Or reworker, or if I mean,
because obviously you can.
Someone like arthritis, for example, in particular. I mean, someone who actually can't physically whip properly because of whatever affliction, shall we say?
Yeah.
Then yeah, we definitely recommend that, because you've got to go and it's done.
Yeah, it's literally putting one wire to the side and screwing up the top.
But other than that, the Zeus is probably the most surprising piece of
kit,
vaporizing kit that we've ever used. It was for the A7 for me, and the Zeus.
You were talking about getting one. I'm talking about getting a second one. Eventually, next time we order from Pink Mule, 11 quid. Why not put it on as well?
You can't go wrong. You really, really can't. Slight niggle with the adjustable centre pin thing, which for us no longer won't be an issue because it remained of ammo. But barring that, a fantastic buy, it really is. Right, we'll get on to Danny Boy's next question, which is, can you do a bit about the Sigeli, like the little run through of the improvements that you've made? Because basically, I posted on Facebook that I've made some improvements to mine the other day, and it's also one of the things that we wanted to touch on anyway. Now, obviously, as we said in the Sigeli video, Worm and I have two different versions of the 19. So we are going to, well, do you want me to start? Might as well touch on mine first. Right, basically, my version was spring at the top, held in by a screw, not adjustable button, sorry, button that's not glued so you can take it apart, but magnet at the top. Let me just get this all apart so I can show you. Right, we'll start with the button. Now, with this button, some of you guys would have been using it as is, and I know a few of you had it undo on you and pop off. It was a problem that I had with mine, problem that Worm had when he's used mine. Pretty much the first time he used mine, he shot it across the room.
He literally gave it to me. I went,
and then it went. Right, basically, so open it up, and inside what you've got is that. That's your bottom cap, and then in there you have a spring, and then you have your pin magnet button thing, right? And then you've got this, which is a 3-piece assembly dowering in 2 bits of metal. You're not going to need to touch that. The adjustment I've made to this is, I don't know if you can see it, well, you can't see the focus, but round there, yeah, focus. Right, okay, round there is an O-ring. I know a lot of people have been using the O-rings from a drip tip or the CE4 head. I've used a drip tip from an iGo-L, and I've double wrapped it. A drip tip, a O-ring from an iGo-L, thank you. An O-ring from the iGo-L, and I've double wrapped it to reduce the throw quite a lot. Now, I do want to point out now, we've said you can run them upside down. If you put this on with a nipple top battery, if you run it upside down, it will fire consistently. So be aware of that. Don't do it.
Is that because you've done double?
Probably.
So if you do a single, test it first. If it stays on, do not turn the battery back upside down. Yeah. Or back up the right way.
It will deal with the throw and run it how you want to. That's the change I've made to the switch. That has made the throw considerably shorter. I mean, really short. I think it's actually shorter than yours with a nipple top on it.
Well, yeah,
It's
mine goes about there.
the front is very short. In terms of the switch, that's sorted that problem out. It doesn't actually undo anymore. I think because there's resistance there between the O-rings and the dowel ring, it doesn't turn. So I haven't actually had it pop off on me since I've done that, which has actually solved 2 problems by mistake. Wicked. The only other change I want to make to this now is that magnet there. I want to pop that magnet off, which I've heard that you can do with a blowtorch and then dunk into cold water. It will pop off. It did come with a warning saying this is going to make the device perform worse. Possibly. I can't see how, because I plan on replacing it with a brass washer about the same thickness, and brass is going to conduct better than that magnet, so I don't care what people say. That's change 1 to the switch, and probably one of the most important changes. The second change would be to the head. Now, first things first, I have completely flushed off my 510, so anything that fits flush at 510 will now not get air feed. Alright, there's no air channels, I've got rid of them completely, so it will flush mount. Secondly, the spring is gone. I undid the screw, took the spring off. We didn't actually know this when we did the Sigelli 19 video. It was only something kind of stumbled across the other day by mistake when I was pissing around with it, and then actually checked worms as well this evening. But basically, in your we're down again. In your Sigelli head, see the brass and the dowel ring? You can actually undo it. Okay, I know I'm out of focus, guys, but give us a sec. You can actually undo it and take it out completely. All right, that there and that there. That brass section will also undo from that dowel ring. All right. Now, what I found is if I do that brass section all the way up, it protrudes just slightly above the dowel ring, and then all I do is screw my E onto this. So I'll unscrew this tightly, slightly. Sorry. So cross threading that there. There we go. So I'll unscrew it to about that point there. Okay, and then I'll screw the Atty on, so as tight as it will go, because obviously I've got rid of the air channels, it will fit flush. Then I will tighten this up so it makes contact with the Atty, screw it all together, it flush mounts, and now you've got an adjustable centre pin. Even if you haven't got the, even if you've got the spring attached, it will still adjust. You just need to give it pliers on it to loosen it up for a few times. But I hate the spring. I really hate the spring. It was one.
It was the only nibble you had on it, really, wasn't it?
Pretty much. I mean, I really wanted the 19 for a while. Then Worm bought one and made me want to buy one, but when Worm got his, I was like, that's basically exactly what I've seen. Then mine come through and I was like, what the hell's going on here? And then the spring fell off at the bottom and I was like, my dear God. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad I got the one I did, because I like the fact that I've been able to take my switch apart. But the spring, it was just, you got to that point and it was like, and you could hear your threads giving up on you. You could hear them crunching and grating against. Now, nice and silky smooth. You bring the dowel up to the bottom of the Atty, you then bring the battery up to it, and I've pretty much got the cape on to sit flush. No, I haven't on mine because I didn't.
While you're doing that, this is my top, guys, just to show you that obviously it's a different one, but it does completely unscrew, so you can adjust that one as well.
So if you have got it,
if you got my one or what you got,
they've all got adjustable centre pins, which we, especially since we didn't actually expect it in mine, and then to find it in Worms as well, brilliant. Unscrew it, put your Atty on, and then screw it up. Alright, to meet the Atty. Don't overscrew it, just screw it up to meet the Atty, and then as normal, and your Atty will sit down, so you won't have that unsightly gap as much. So that's wicked. So Dan, hopefully that's helped. If you want to do this kind of stuff, it's fine. You know where we are. If you want to message us, if you get any issues with it, it was just a case of I was sat there the other night bored and at work, and no work to do. So might as well try and flush mount it, and that started me off on a little trend. And now the only thing I want to do is get that magnet out the bottom and put a brass contact in there, and I'm away. I'll be well happy. That'll be, as far as I'm concerned, as good as the 90 is going to get for me. To
be honest, I'll probably be doing the brass contact at the bottom, just so I can reduce that throw a little bit more as well at the same time.
Yeah, there you go. So we both spoke tonight about getting the ends on it, or the 19B ends on it wannabe tops, because they are truly flush, and I'll probably reduce that 510 again so we can just flush mount everything collide to it. Yeah, it's one of them things. I know that whilst we're on the 19, I know that Gary at Celtic Vapes, or Celtic Vapes, wherever you want to say it, Celtic Vapes, has actually started doing an upgraded 19 switch. Now, whether it is his creation, he's insistent, or whatever else, but the magnet's got away with altogether, and I've heard nothing but good stuff about it, and I think it's £6. So if you have got the glue switch that Worm's got and you wanted to upgrade the switch, I'd get that one, because it's a brass contact. It's going to save all the aggro, and it's still the adjustable one that I've got on here. So I've got no magnets, you can put an O-ring on it, bring the throw up, and you've got no connection issues whatsoever. Fantastic. And obviously there's loads of new tops out there now, so worst case is if you've got your one and you wanted the bottom from mine and the top from yours on it when it's 12 quid. Can't go wrong for that.
You already paid 30 quid for the mod, might as well throw an extra 12 quid on there.
Use the other ones as spares. If nothing else, you could then tear them ones apart and try and improve them. If it went wrong, you're alright anyway.
Make them better than the ones you bought.
There you go. So that is the 19 Dan. Again, hopefully that's helped, as well as a few others. I'll just asking Dan if he has any more questions. And I'm going to very quickly.
Haribo Tangle Fantastics. Random item number 2.
My dear gosh. Right, guys, sorry. Yes, that is the skill in 19. We're going to move on whilst I try and load my Facebook because people commenting left, right, and centre. I can't load the bloody thing.
Right, okay, we'll go on to. Oh, should we? I'll go on to the Pravari. Pravari seems to be a slight issue. When I'm using the extender cap, the batteries just seem to register that they're dying, even though they got like 4.1 volts in them.
We actually mentioned a couple of videos that we were picking on you, and I was like, hey, is Pravari's run out again?
It's not running out. It's something to do with this extension cap not connecting properly, and it's just throwing up random errors or random battery drain issues. Since I've gone back down to proper mini mode with my 18350, no issues at all. The Pravari, it was never the Pravari issue, it was just the extender cap. Don't know what's going on there. I might try and get some sort of brass spring in there and see if that improves it. But that's the update on the Pravari for now.
Indeed. Sorry.
Sorry? I thought you were going to say something. Okay. Right, next.
Yeah, anyway, what was I saying? Sorry, Pravari. Sorry, guys.
I've got like phone and tablet going off over. He's got
my phone's now ringing as well. I'm going to ignore that. Call that back in a bit. Right, yeah, we were just talking about Pravari extension cap, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, okay. I didn't get to throw my 2 cents.
Well, you can throw your 2 cents if you want.
No, that's fine. Right, I don't know what we've done. Oh, lava tube.
Lava tube.
Right, okay. The lava tube version something, I don't know what it was. I don't know what it is, I have no idea. It is the small one, the chrome one. We got the kit sent to us, and I pretty much used and abused it quite a bit actually. The lava tube in itself is not an overly bad mod. It's not. But the issue I had with it when I was using it, fucking batteries, honestly, they're useless. Not the batteries with it, it's just in general, reading the batteries. You stick a battery in, you use it for 10 minutes, and all of a sudden it's telling that battery's half empty, although you just put it in, freshly charged battery. And I thought maybe it's the batteries. I tried Worms AWs, I tried my E-Fests, I tried the batteries that came with it. More than I cared to mention. I think one night I actually went out and had a few beers, or went around Pals and had a few beers, and I went through 7 batteries in an evening. And I know I vape hard, I don't vape that fucking hard, right? And it got to the point where I was like, do you know what? The Vamo is broken in terms of threading, but at least I can read the battery on it. So it was charging it, putting it in the lava tube, waiting for it to die, testing it in the Vamo. It's still like 3.7, 3.8 volts. The thing's useless at reading batteries, it really is. I mean, I haven't actually got it anymore, we've given it away. To someone who needed it more than we did, but it's not a bad mod, especially when you consider it's nice and compact. But all I will say is the Vamo's about the same size, so it's an 8350 mode. At least that will read your batteries properly. It will also give you variable wattage, variable voltage. I think the ohm test is more accurate on it.
Of course it is.
And I just in general think it's a better mod. It's as simple as that. Obviously, didn't want to say that too much in the review because it's slagging it off a little bit. It's not a bad mod, but
it does its job.
I mean, I would like to point out the threading didn't go on it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one thing.
It's not bad.
It, but
it can't. I mean, with all this stuff, it comes down to preference.
I think our niggle is that we generally like quite heavy items. We like to feel that it's in our hand and it's there. This thing, it was like holding a feather. It was so light, even with a battery in it.
It delivered on power.
Yeah,
it definitely delivered on power. But
it does what it's meant to. But it's just
it wasn't my preference. I know it wasn't Worms either. It was just a little bit too light, a little bit too flimsy.
Maybe my Pravari was smaller.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot more money, but
made by Jaylin as well. And after the old Corolla fiasco, I'm not their biggest fan. I don't know if we actually did that in flapping, but the Corolla's not a true mechanical one. I said it in one video, but
Shall we show him?
I don't think I'm going to be able to get, like, I can't fucking.
Go on, get it.
Oh, this bloody, has this got a battery in it? No, okay, just heavy. This thing, it's sold as true mechanical, even in the paper and bump that comes with it, it's stated as a true mechanical. I really don't think you'll be able to get in there, mate. But there is a wire in there. Now, people's versions of true mechanical differ. Alright, everyone's does. In my opinion, and Worms as well, a true mechanical is something that has no solder, no wires. It's as simple as that. It's metal touching metal, that makes the contact.
I wouldn't mind if there was a bit of solder holding something metal to metal in.
I wouldn't even mind so much if it was like the smock pipe that's just been released, where it has got a bit of wire in there, and it states it's mechanical, but nowhere does it state it's a true mechanical, nowhere does it state it has no wire, and nowhere does it state it has no solder. This, in the paperwork, says this is a true mechanical. It has no wire, it has no solder, so on and so forth. Literally, first thing he did was pop the switch out. There's a bit of fucking wire there, and there's solder. So the thing's just a pain in my arse. It really is. It's
You haven't even looked at it, have you?
It's sat there. I could repair it and use it, but I don't want to. I just don't want to. One day it'll become something more, no doubt. But the reason I got the Corolla was because you was ordering a Zeus, wasn't it? That was when you ordered the Zeus, from Pink Mule, and I wanted the 19, but the only place I found that sold them at the time was Vape Gear, and they were out of stock. And I'm impatient, so I was like, I've got to get me a mechanical one so I can run some sushi low risk coils.
2 weeks later, I buy 19. 1 week later, he buys 19.
It wasn't 2 weeks, was it? It was more like a month and a
Well,
half. But, yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Ultimately, guys, this just proves the point. If you want something, like I did the 19, and you can't get it, if you buy something to replace it, you're probably going to end up getting it anyway. I was talking to Neil on Facebook yesterday. He asked about the Typhoon GT, or the Typhoon, I think they actually called it, but he spelled Typhoon, which is around 130 quid. It's K-Fun money. Apparently it's a K-Fun vape. As simple as that. Holds about the same as the K-Fun, or the K-Fun light, so on and so forth. Now I know Neil's been looking at the K-Fun light, so much so he's going, come on man, you know anyone that's selling these, la 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 la. Yes I do, unfortunately we're out of stock, but I said to Neil exactly what I've just said then. If you want one because you want one, then go ahead, get it, you're not going to regret it. Otherwise, you're going to buy it. I actually said to Neil, buy both. But you're going to buy it, and then you're going to want to buy what you originally wanted to buy anyway. Preference, Typhoon, to answer your question, Neil, my preference between the Typhoon and the K-Fun, I want them both. I'm not going to lie, I saw the Typhoon about 2 months ago, and I wanted it then. But the money, it's 130 quid. It's a lot of money. I still think the K-Fun's better looking than the Typhoon, but I prefer the setup of the Typhoon. If I could get it to work, I wouldn't know. I haven't tried it, but that is what it is. So that kind of answers that question. No idea how I got to that, but that's where we've ended up.
Basically, he's waiting until he's got a spare £130 and it's in the post.
I don't know, because the iFac is not much more than that.
And you want an iFac too?
Of course I do. The iAti would be nice, but they don't sell them anymore. It's now the iFac. So, yeah, to be honest with you, someone, I can't remember who it was, and I can't remember how they asked me, but I have no idea. Sorry if this was you that asked the question. But I think it was after we did, what video was it we did where we mentioned clones? Was it K-Fun? It was the K-Fun. Yes, it was the K-Fun. Where we mentioned clones and our opinions on clones, and obviously everyone's opinions on clones. Now, when it comes to like the K-Fun light, for example, undercutting the Russian and stuff like that, which again is still Russia 1 and China 0. When it comes to that, now I think that's fantastic. You get a genuine product for less than the rip-off's going to be. Brilliant. Haven't got the adjustable airflow, haven't got the valve filling, but I wouldn't want either of those anyway. The drawness is fine, and the filling valve for me, and I know what I'm like, I'm heavy-handed, it's just something to break. But when it comes to mods, things like your EXT, RS, whatever it's called, and your KTS, which are rip-offs of your GGTS, there's Bagua rip-offs, there's, what's it called now? Caravella rip-offs out there as well, there's obviously the 100 is a Empire mod rip-off. When it comes to mods, take the KTS for example. I know quite a few guys on Facebook have actually ordered or have taken receipt of their KTSs today. Worm and I have got a KTS each waiting in a basket, and we've watched reviews on it. I've watched reviews on the voltage drop-off. I think Worm has as well. It's better than a lot of expensive mods. A lot of them. Now the build quality isn't going to be up to scratch as GGTS or whatever else, but KTS I think we're going to get 25 quid.
Looks epic.
25 quid. It's a GGTS wannabe in it, so it's going to look good. But the GGTS is a lot of money, 150, 160, depending on what options you want. And
you're talking Ferrari money.
Yeah. Whereas the KTS, well, depending on where you go, about 25, 30 quid in the UK. Go to somewhere like Fast Tech, I think it's 14 quid. I think
it was a tenner for the actual, just the plain
12 quid for stainless steel, or some shit like something like it's not stainless steel, it's chrome plated brass,
yeah.
But 12 quid. That's as expensive as the battery that we would put in it. And you get all that metalwork and stuff. And if it performs pretty well, yeah, don't get me wrong, we all would like a GGTS and a Nimbus and a Carabella and a Bagua and all this kind of stuff. But then for what I've just shouted out, you're effectively got metal tubes and switches with a nice bit of connectivity and a decent bit of design. But then for things that I've just shouted out, you're talking 600 or 700 quid for. The clones of them at the cheaper end that perform pretty well, you're talking like 80, 90 quid for. So it's one of them things. Opinions on clones. I'd rather support the original manufacturer, but if I haven't got 160 quid to lay out on a GGTS, better believe I'll buy a KTS. It's one of them ones. It's, for me, it's more strongly when it comes to the Atties, because when you've got a battery tube, yes, they've spent a bit of time, but it's more about the build quality, and that can't be changed unless you increase the price. But for this is a lot of design that goes into this. I know the GGTS has, but for me, personally, my opinion is that the Atties take more work in terms of design than the mods do.
I mean, let's be honest, to get a mechanical to perform, you've got to make it send an electronic current through the whole body, through the 510 back out to the body if you're negative. To get an 80 to work, you've got to make sure it's performing on flavour, vapour, the airflow is right, the amount of juice flow is right, the actual putting the way you put the juice in, the way it doesn't leak, or if it leaks, sorting that issue out. It's just a whole host of issues you've got with making atomizers and tanks and all kinds.
The officials do perform better.
Yeah,
they do. Like the Sigeli 19B and the Enzonic, they're completely different ends of the scale. The Enzonic will perform better, but on a budget, the 19B you'll be incredibly happy with.
Oh, definitely.
It's one of those things. It's kind of like the Pravari versus the Vamo. Yes, they do effectively do the same job, but you hold one and you hold the other. You know what the difference is. You can feel it. If nothing else, even if they perform the same, you feel better about it because you can feel the quality's there. Now, I'm happy running this K-Fun on this Sigeli, and personally, I love how that fucking thing looks. I really do. Since I flush mounted that down a bit, it looks awesome. The K-Fun body matches the Sigeli body, and I don't think that was intentional, but it just it's wicked.
Very slightly off. Really? It's so slight. Yeah.
Mate, I think you need to get your eyes tested.
I think you need to get your eyes tested.
Mate, my eyes are fine. I think you're in the shade a bit, mate. That is, by eye, you can't really tell that apart at all.
It is just, we're talking like minuscules of colour here, but it is a slightly darker on the.
What do you think?
K-Fun.
Can you tell a difference?
You can't from there. No.
Can you? What about there? Can you tell a difference? All right. Well, yeah, all right, fair enough. Yeah, there's very fractional differences, but you're talking that.
It's minute colour difference, but it's like if it's from here. You can't tell. It was only when I looked it up close that you could tell the difference in colour. So, why are we talking about colour?
I have no idea. But whatever. Right, I know. What have we got up to?
I don't know.
We've done that. The K-Fun.
We just got the K-Fun.
Well, yeah, kind of. All we did was talk about the dual core. Basically, up down the K-Fun. Still fucking awesome. I had it leak once. Again.
User error.
Well, that or the tank, because I noticed it had a little leak with that clear tank before it, and I thought it was me. And as I said to Worm earlier, I think this tank might have cracked it. I did accidentally throw it across the room the other day at work. Not like that, but kind of like, whoa! And it did go for a dive. And I picked it up and I was like, oh! So yeah, it is what it is. But K-Fun is still the best vape I've ever had. Not necessarily in terms of the flavour intensity, because I think the Baron and the Zeus slightly edge it. But this holds 4.5 mil. I can take this to work. And I have. I was saying to Worm, I haven't actually used really any other device apart from this at all since I bought it, because I've been able to use it everywhere at work, the other day in the cinema, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, K-Fund, love it, worth every penny, would do it
You
again.
wouldn't do that.
No, I said you shouldn't do that. And I would like to point out that it was just me in the cinema. I was there early, so it's like, don't want to go outside. So stealth vape. Don't do it. But yeah, one of them. Well, should we get on to the? Would you want to go microcool? Should we go on to that first and that first?
Yeah, we can do if you want.
All right, AGT. We said in the AGT video that we was gonna play about a bit, have a follow up with it, see how we got on with it.
I did have a little play.
One correction we did want to make quickly: it's not stainless steel; it's titanium. T and AGT kind of gives that away. We were very poor that day, and obviously we deserve a slap knuckle for that.
But yeah,
we did have a bit of a play.
Yeah, it wasn't like a massive play though. It wasn't like we sat there for a week playing it unending and cracked on.
Sorry guys, my phone's going, which is why I was kind of distracted.
Do you want to answer it?
No, that's all right. I'll text.
Oh, okay. So yeah, what was I talking about? The AGT.
AGT.
We did have. It wasn't like a week play. We had a little, maybe 2-day, 3-day play with it. We got it performing. We got it wicking amply. Not great. It's something. To be honest, we was getting more of a over wicking issue. A lot of people were having an under wicking issue.
Once we got to it, yeah.
Once we got that, I just don't know. I just don't know, guys. It's just like the first time I wrapped it, totally underwicked, like monstrously. It was just like burning out after like 2 seconds pull, and I'm like a 4 to 5 second pull. Mr. Proton was like a 8 second pull if you can.
I can.
Yeah, it was underwicking first. Then I re-put it in with just mesh, fresh bit of 400 mesh instead of 500, and it overwicked like an animal. Overwicked. I mean, you wasn't here then, but I then shortened because I had it, the bottom of the mesh, I had it cut at a slight angle, just so the hole that I had up inside it, like a straw sort of, would suck up more juice, and obviously that was what's causing the issue. So I flattened it off and put it back down and put it to the bottom so it should kind of choke it a little bit, just to hopefully stop the overwicking issue. It did, but it was still like, if you start rate vaping and like proper like taking like lung inhales and that, which I generally tend to do on like Genesis style tanks and that, after about 10 minutes or so, you had to like kind of put the top off and wipe around the top just to get rid of that excess juice again. It wasn't like over excessive amounts, it was just enough. After 10 minutes it was over saturated and it just wouldn't vape properly. So working, just not epic.
It is one of them things. It could be epic though, couldn't it?
Yes.
It could really be epic, because the flavour, when it was there for that kind of brief 2 minutes before it started overwicking, when it got that butter zone, it was very, very good. We've both actually had quite a considerable play of it. I think I sat there one day for about 2.5 hours just coiling, uncoiling, new mesh, old mesh, rope, this, that, and the other, whatever we could get into it. We don't seem to have much luck with the UD Genesis to start with. I mean, you got that AGI working banging, didn't you? When you were doing that. I've played around with the Argo quite a bit and got that going now finally after about what seems like a millennia.
You bought it what, the 4th week of vaping?
4th, 5th week, yeah.
So you've done
6 months. 6 months actually in 9 days, which will probably be 8 days by the time it's uploaded, because it's now 11 o'clock at night. So it is what it is. It's taken a while to get the RSST, because it's got an insulated wick hole. You don't get your short stuff as much because it's actually not touching the body to short top and bottom. So it is what it is.
Why don't they do that in everything?
Well, a lot of people don't like it. That's why.
But it works.
It does work, but a lot of people don't like
But anyway,
it.
yeah, the
AGT.
Yeah,
it's still good. It is very good. I think if
when
you've got
those
more time to
10 minutes that I was vaping fine, it was epic. It was like literally I couldn't put it down for 10 minutes because it was that good. But then like you got to take the top off, you get a little bit of juice on your hands, and you got to wipe it off, and then you got to put it back on. Make sure you don't hit your coil because it is very close to that body. Yeah, it's just.
If you've got more time than we have to invest into that one device,
yeah, I mean,
or if you're very experienced,
yeah, if you love Genesis, then this be a banging little driver for you, Genesis style 80 for you. But for us who don't really seem to veer towards Genesis style tanks, we do like them, and when we get them working, we think they're banging, but we don't use them on a day-to-day basis because we like stuff that we can just chuck all in one case, take it wherever we're going. If we're sitting indoors, it's all day ready to go. If we're going out, we just pick up the case and off we go, sort of thing. We don't want to sit there thinking, oh, I've got to take this off, what battery do I need, blah, blah, blah. We just, bam, there it is, let's go. So yeah, it is really good. Just a little bit of playing, like any Jenny type style tank.
Personally, when it comes to Jenny tanks, I know a lot of guys love them, and I'm not trying to offend anyone when I say this. Even on their best day, like when that your AGI was working, and that's probably the best one we've had working. It was working amazingly. So much I was like, fuck, I didn't see that coming. Took me straight out of left wing.
I didn't let him try it before the video, so he kind of took it.
You see the reaction to it. That was incredibly good. Probably one of the best vapes I've ever had. And this is going to tie in with a question that Dan's just asked again, which is what we're vaping now. The reason I don't spend all of my time with Jenny tanks is because I prefer silica. Personally, I prefer silica. I prefer the way that silica tastes. I like silica setups, which is why I went for the K-Fun over an expensive Genesis style tank. I think Worm will agree with this. It is, for me anyway, from my point of view, the taste of silica seems the best. And I think you'll agree with that, which is why we primarily use drippers. One, we've used them so much now, we've got them down so much that we can literally do it with our eyes closed pretty much. It takes all of a minute to re-wick an A7
takes longer to
or
wash the bloody thing out and put it back together before re-wicking it.
Yeah, it's just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, and it's in. We've done it so many times now. So the fact that it's easier for us because we have spent a lot more time doing it is one reason that we do. But it's just the flavour and the vapour and stuff off of silica in the right dripper, in the right tank, anything like that is in my opinion, better for me. And you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, we know Genesis style tanks can take silica, but no matter what bit of silica or wick we use, it always chokes. Under wicking is a real issue with silica. Literally, like where the silica is under the coil, it's just dry as soon as you press that button, and then you release the button, it soaks back up, and it's just like, well, why aren't you soaking it at the same time? And we get so frustrated by it, we waste what we wasted in terms of wick now on trying to wick a Genesis style tank?
Enough.
At least 2 meters, I'd say, split between all our Genesis style tanks, just trying to get one of them to bloody work. So, yeah, good, but we like silica.
There you go. Sorry, guys. This is random people asking questions and stuff and things. So that's kind of where we are with Jenny tanks. One day, one's going to come out that we get our hands on, and we're going to absolutely adore
One that works with silica.
Well, it was only 3-4 months ago that we were sat there watching reviews on the iGo L, going, seemed like far too much effort. Now it seems like nothing for us to do. And I know that there are a lot of people out there in the situation now that we were then, and just off the Facebook page, their vapes are coming along. They've asked us for a bit of advice. We've given them advice. They've watched videos and so on and so forth, and they've kind of took a punt on stuff, not on our recommendation per se, but they've kind of seen what our reactions are to stuff. They've also spoke to everyone else on the group. Everyone else has said similar things to what we have. They've tried it and loved it. So kind of people are moving up if they choose to do so.
Yeah.
And I can imagine it's going to be the same with us with Jenny's. We're looking at them going, they're just not worth the effort. But one day we'll get it. We'll get a tank. Like the RSSD, for example, is lovely and easy for us to wick. Bang, 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 done. But I just haven't had it perform well enough for me to go, I'd rather do that than drip. I think that is the thing at the minute. Until it's like amazing, it's not going to be where I want to be consistently.
But even then, Genesis style tanks, taking them out, are prone to leaking. When you've got them in your pocket or something, you can't have them in your pocket. They've got to be predominantly standing upright. I mean, you can tilt them while you're vaping, but you'll remember you're vaporizing the juice that's getting flooded into that chamber. That's the whole point of the Genesis tilt. Taking it out is not going to be, it's basically going to take out an empty one, use the juice while you're out to put it back into your case to take it home, or keep it in your hand the whole time you're walking or driving or whatever.
Sorry, Martin on Facebook, wishing you well, mate. No night, just.
Oh right, he's off to bed.
He's off to bed.
Good night.
No, mate. Yeah, basically that's what it is. Dan's just asked us another question, which is, sorry guys, a little run through about what you guys are vaping most regularly these days. Right. Well, stuff and things.
My two go-to devices. The Provari is going out these days because my Vamo is dead, so I've got no choice. Provari with my, I can't remember which AGR carto tank, and my Zeus dripper. That is what I'm predominantly using. I have been using a little bit of the Dream since we played with that, and I rewicked it like you rewick a K-Fun. Works banging.
Still not go to though for you, is it?
Still go to, no.
For me, well, as stated, give the lava tube away. So now I have nothing VV. I haven't even got a spinner, have I? No, I have nothing VV at all at the minute.
You don't have any egos anymore, do you?
No,
you broke your one.
No egos. I broke a couple, gave one away the other day, gave away the lava tube today. For me, at the minute, my go-to vape has been and will continue to be the K-Fun. It is the K-Fun on the 19. I'm wrapping a low res. I mean, at the minute it's a ridiculously low res.
What's your backup?
0.4 ohm coil.
No. What's your backup device?
My backup
the
device
20 with the AGT,
would either be the A7 with a similar res coil on the Sigelli, or the Sigelli 20 with a kick and the AGR. Kick set to 10 watts and the AGR as well.
So there you go.
That is what we have been.
I have also been taking around my EVOD and EVOD battery, like Kenga EVOD kit thing that I've got. That's always in my pouch, always full, just there mainly for if my battery runs out. I haven't really used it so much, but I do occasionally cheekily put it in my pocket when I shouldn't. I'm not going to say when, just in case certain people are watching this.
What did you say? What at work? We're talking you, EVOD.
Yeah.
Slag! No, your work. Oh, maybe, I don't know. What work are you talking about?
It could be any of them.
Well, it ain't working with me, is it?
I don't work with you. We work on 7 days.
At the same place.
But yeah, one of them. Next. Did you want to go on?
Sorry.
Microcoils. People who were talking about microcoils for what reason?
Right. Okay. Now, with your setups, for example, me, I've got 0.4 ohms running. It was full battery on a K-Fun, which I imagine isn't going to be full for very long when I'm running at 0.4. Basically, really ramping up the watts, getting that liquid vaporize nice and quick, and blowing your head off. What a microcoil is, it gives you a low res vaping experience at a normal res. So as opposed to wrapping, say, 4 wraps of 32 gauge Canthol on 2 bits of 3mm in a dripper, or whatever it is you're vaporizing it in, to give you sort of 1.8 ohms ish, and running it at say 4.2. What you do is use a low res wire, so say 0.28, or sorry, not 0.28, sorry, 28 gauge or 0.3 or even 25 gauge, something really sort of low res wire, and you do loads of reps. So you'll do say 10 reps, and that will give you around like 1.82 ohms. Then what you do is you crank the power, so it's like a sub-ohm vaping experience, but at normal levels of power or watts. A lot of people have been success with this because the thing with low res coils like this 0.41, I'm spanking my battery. 2, when you're pushing something as hard as I am, there are risks involved. You are pushing that battery incredibly hard. You are pushing your coils and your setup incredibly hard, and just in general, if you're going to risk venting batteries and stuff, this is where you're going to do it. The calculations are totally dependent on what this battery is actually putting out under load. But even if I'm running say 3.2 volts on a 0.4 coil, it's still incredibly high watts. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Couldn't tell you. I'll actually work it out for you if you'd like. But the total output and power is going to be higher. Whereas if you've got like a micro coil, as they're known, which is a lot of wraps of low res wire running at kind of normal voltage, maybe slightly higher than you would typically, but you're still in a safe zone. It gives you that experience without having to put any of the associated dangers in the mix. Hopefully that makes sense. We just want to make you aware what microcoils are, because I know that there is a trend developing.
To be honest, I've only read a little bit on it, and I don't really get the point of it, but I don't wrap seriously low res coils, so I don't need to get to that point. So it's only really that he wanted to probably test it. I think you did try one once, didn't you?
Yeah, I tried it a couple of times, but to be honest with you, this is what I was getting on to. There is a lot of hype around sort of sub-ohm low res coils, smashing it out. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy that. I do enjoy doing it. Worm will vouch that I do it, and those of you guys who watch us regularly will know that I do that. I do enjoy to run things hot. I run things hard. I like to get one puff and 5 drops of liquid vaporized in that one puff. If I can do it, I'm going to. Right? It's not a recommendation that you should follow. You do what you want to do, but that gives you the option to kind of experience some of that without the associated dangers necessarily. Personally, and this is just my opinion, having tried the microcool twice, once here and once somewhere else, it's not the same.
No.
It's close. It's closer than your standard sort of coil will be, but it's still not the same. I mean, if you've got a 1.88 head and you're running on, say, 4.5 volts, I'll do the calculation now. If you've got 1.8 microcool, so you've got 11.2 watts is what you've got. Now, me at the minute, even if, like I said, I'm getting 3.2 volts, which I've got a sneaky suspicion it's a bit higher than that, but even if I'm only getting 3.2 under load of that coil, I'm pushing 25 watts. As long as the battery will take it, but it's 10 amp battery, it should be okay. It's not even half, and irrespective of what you do, it's not going to be half. Yes, if I was going to have a normal setup around normal kind of resistances and what you class as normal volts, that would be what I would do. But it still doesn't deliver exactly the same as this does. Tinker with what you want to do and see how you go. There's no pressure to wrap sub-ohm coils. If you're happy, what we've said from the beginning, if you're happy with what you've got,
don't change it.
Don't change it. Why?
If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
We buy, we experiment because we want to.
Yeah. We are chasing that perfect vape aggressively.
Indeed.
And we enjoy doing it, to be honest, because we like helping out you guys, we like showing you new devices, we like telling you stuff that we're doing. I mean, we're doing like an hour plus video now, just for the hell of it, just so you guys know what's going on over here. We're trying to get, maybe next time we can get a little bit more notice in before we do this one and say, look, a couple of days before, everybody get on, we'll have a little Q&A, 10-minute go. We've had Dan tonight, big up to Dan for that, popped his little head on, so yeah, hopefully we can get a few more guys and a few more questions of different things, and hopefully it's a little bit more informative instead of just one guy asking one questions that he wants to know.
Well, there are other people who are interested, but it's just at the minute we need to find a place where we can all get together at the same time. I mean, we've got WhatsApp going, there's people on Facebook, Twitter, and people trying to get on Skype as well. We can only concentrate on one thing at a time, realistically, as well as film. Although there's 2 of us, it still gets a bit hard to juggle.
We've still got quite a bit to go for, I think. We're still going to keep flapping for a bit.
Yeah, we've got more coming.
But I'm just going to take this. I'm going to snip the video here, guys. I need to get some ice for my drink. I need a potty break. So we'll be right back. But you won't be right back because we'll be literally just straight after this. There we go. But yeah, if you notice a little,
then that's why.
That's why. So we'll see you in a sec, guys.
We'll see us now.
You might want to pause it now and go and get yourself a little cup of tea.
We'll just have a little mid break. You know what I mean? Like 2 seconds. I
might put one in.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
No, it's just a case of, and we're back. We might as well just cut the thing and come back.
Welcome back after the potty break. I know it wasn't long for you guys, but it was for us.
It's been about 2 hours.
It has been 2 hours.
Maybe not 2 hours. It's over an hour though.
It was a good 10-minute poo.
10-minute poo and over an hour.
Slapping.
Yeah, we just had a chat with Neil, who we mentioned. We've just been chatting with him on Skype. Seemed like a wicked bloke. And we've also talked to Dan. I think Dan actually asked another question whilst we were, I just can't remember what it was.
Stuff and things.
Stuff and things. Sorry guys, we're going to have to get back into the rhythm. Is there anything that can blend ASUS into a mod a bit better than... No idea what you're going on about, mate. I'd imagine he means... Well, yeah, kind of, but it depends on what mod he's talking about. Something like the Vamo? No. Is the answer, basically.
Not unless you're going to custom build yourself an extra 510 extender to actually curve that inwards. Yeah,
it's not... The Zeus is like this big, the Vamo's like that big. There's only so much that you can do. You could say that if you bought a smaller mod, if you bought something like a Bargois mechanical, it's like 14mm mod, so it's about 16mm in total, it'd look better, but that's going to cost you like 80 quid plus the battery inside it as well. But realistically, no, moths in here and everything, sorry guys.
Yeah, we're being attacked.
We are being attacked by moths and stuff and things. What are you doing? Are you trying to... Oh, right. Is that actually going to work?
No, unfortunately.
Is it not fit on the ego threading? Oh, one may have just come up with an idea for you, Dan.
Maybe.
If it works.
What were you going to talk about anyway?
I have absolutely no idea.
Whilst
we're
take a few seconds.
Whilst we were playing around with that, another thing we said we was going to update you on and we didn't, is the iGo F in tank format. You the iGo F thing. If you watch the video, you'll know the re-wicking of that thing in a way that we was never sure as to exactly how it was intended to be used, whether it was meant to wicks to go down the hole, or whether it was set up like we ended up doing and just using it as a sort of tilt feed. Personally, in reflection, I think Worm agrees, I think it's designed as a tilt feed because even if you do get some wick down them holes are so small they're going to choke the thing off anyway. So yeah, I just can't see it being used as tank feed, but no, didn't work for us, still hasn't worked for us.
Oh, I didn't even
This
mean
is
to do
what
it.
happens when he has the mouse near him. He just cut that video again. But yeah, no idea what I was saying. No idea what I was saying. So yes, I did. The iGo F is still a very, very good dripper. 20 quid though. It is 20 quid. I'd say for the money I'd get a Zeus and some Campbell and some wick and delivery for the price of the iGo F on its own. But that being said, if you do like the iGo F, it is a very good looking thing. It does perform pretty well when it has a tank. So wherever you want
It's
to
good
get
as like a little tilt dripper thing.
It's good because it holds a mil, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then it's the same as a Genesis style tank. I wouldn't want to fill it out, take it out with me.
Yeah.
I'd want to empty it before I put it back in the case. In which case, I might as well be using a normal dripper. But it is what it is. But no, it hasn't worked for us as a tank. Still set up as a tilt feed. Unless you've had luck with setting it up as a tank, in which case, please let us know. Just because we haven't. Right, have you got anywhere with this?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Probably done by now.
But basically, what I've done is I've put a cone on a 510 extension upside down. So it does kind of flush mount, but it doesn't actually connect to it. So what you actually need is two 510 extenders.
So surely that second one would just have to be a 510 to 510.
Yes. 510 to 510. Well, that.
Which we have.
Do you have a 510 to 510?
Yes. Where it is, I don't know. You've got one as well.
Yes, I have.
We do have a 510 to 510.
Oh,
Booyah!
I get the fucking thing off.
Just stab yourself in the finger if you can.
Oh, I've got fucking cream all over my hands.
Man juice all over his hands.
Extra cream.
Sorry, guys. Let's get rid of that to start with. Oh, you're such a gay. Got juice all over it. Plus the grips. Right, well, we'll come back to this.
No, well.
Oh, maybe not.
So, guys, you know how we go. We don't really plan anything, and stuff and things happen.
Just a prime example of that sound. You might not need the ego connection now. Because you could just sit on top of that and Zeus would hold it.
Maybe.
We shall see. Well, interesting.
Again.
Yes, okay. What else have we got to do? We had that stuff sent down. Charlie from Charlie's Vote sent us down the eco wall, the ribbon. He also sent us down some mesh. What else did he send us down? Was that it? Yeah, but at the same time, I also bought some 28 gauge Canto, and I actually bought some ribbon as well, which is a bit annoying. Basically, just what our preference was, very, very quickly. Keep trying the eco wall. Keep going back to silica. The eco wall can be good. It is good. It's just, in my opinion, not as good as silica. To be honest with you, I prefer the taste off of silica. I think, in general, it's better.
Sorry, are you finished?
Yeah, I was wondering if you give your 2 cents.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got a 510 extender on there, and it does kind of blend it slightly. You've got to remember.
What is going on there? Oh, is your 510 don't hold, does it?
It doesn't hold at all.
We're such pikeys.
Pretty sure, yours actually screws in a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, so let's see if we can try and get this screw
In true orderly fashion.
in. No, one's fucked and all. But saying that's now too long, isn't it?
It's only slightly though, so at least.
Yeah, it's slightly too long, but still too long, nevertheless. So Dan, to answer your question, mate,
probably is a
sorry.
way, but you got to play around.
A lot, and it means buying stuff, and you're not going to know if it's going to work. I think Dan's got a 510 to ego.
Has he?
Yeah. Sorry, Dan. I don't think there is, mate, but we'll try one last thing very quickly. No idea if this is going to work, but probably not because it's just buried itself in there. But well, there you go. All that does is get rid of some of the well low. It's not actually blended the body at all. No, mate. If you're trying to run a Vamo, not really any way to extend that up and make it blend or match any better than it already does, unfortunately. Not really, to be honest with you, I wouldn't really want to. Maybe a twist or something would work with it. That's yours and that's yours. This is mine. Yeah, maybe a twist or something would work with it so you can run it and it's all flush. But if you want to use your Vamo and you want it to flush with a Zeus, sorry mate, I don't think it's going to happen for you. But the iGo stuff, the UD stuff is a lot wider. So I know you've got an iGo F, no you haven't, you've got an iGo L, sorry. But Zeus is better, unfortunately. It's one of them ones you have to suffer it, geez. Yeah, Wickenware, I think Worm's the same as me. it's just getting ridiculous now. Yeah, Wickenware, I think Worm's the same as me. Still prefer silica. Do love Canthal ribbon though. Really, really like Canthal ribbon. And also been twisting Canthal a lot recently. For those of you guys who don't know, I was talking to Steve earlier and he didn't know. Twisted Canthal is 1 bit of Canthal, horseshoe round, put a drill bit or something up it and just twist it until it's doubled over. So it's all twisted together like a rope that then halves the resistance. And you can use 32 gauge Canthal and end up with a resistance of like 28 gauge. So if you've only got 32 and you want to give it a go before you buy some, it's a good way to have a little crack. It's not quite the same, but it's close.
No.
It is what it is. What else have we got left now?
We done?
No. The kick, Sigilly kick. We said you'd update you on that as well. It's absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with it at all. To be honest with you, I don't use it to run anything other than this carter tank. All I use it for, with 2 or 3 ohm, because it just bumps up the power slightly to match that. I have it set to 10 watts. It's never been on anything other than 10 watts. Don't see why you'd want it on anything other than 10 watts. To be honest with you, I went higher. Yeah, still working absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, we've had I looked through like other reports of like the other kick, the official kick, and obviously the scaly kick and the kick. The official kick seems to be a little bit unreliable. I haven't had so many like reading issues of like issues with this thing as the original.
Sorry, my battery's just died.
Ooh, it's him for once. Yeah, so it's, we've had, from what we've read on like forums and posting that, obviously this is a newer kick or version of the kick, so it's probably not going to.
It's a rip off of the kick. I mean, you expect it seeing it. Sorry, guys, I'm here.
But it doesn't seem to be dying as quick as the official kick does on certain occasions. So,
well, I think the main problem with the kick is that they just weren't built to last. But I'd imagine the main problem with the kick. No, I don't think this one is anymore. I'd imagine the main problem with the kick is people using it. The people that are using it, it's very flimsy. It's a printed circuit board, a double A printed circuit board that fits into a pipe. You get a little box with it. It comes in a little box. It isn't really protected as such. And I'd imagine people were chucking it around and going, "This thing's broken." Well, yeah, of course. You're throwing around a printed circuit board. Realistically, you need to have a little sponge box that it sits in when you're not using it. Either that or do what I do, and it is always in a mod. That is the only place it stays. It's, if I'm using the 19, it's in the 20 and vice versa. Just because it keeps it safe. It's the only way you can keep it safe. Unfortunately, it's its downside. But other than that, absolutely fine.
there we go. So that's the scaly kick.
Whilst we're on the kick, I literally have mechs now. So I'm finding myself growing more and more towards the mechs as each day passes. Slowly falling in love with everything non-variable voltage. I just wrap really low resistance cores. 1 ohm, 1.2 push, maybe 1.4. And yeah, I just run them. The batteries last longer. I seem to get a nicer vape out of them. And yeah, the only thing I've got that variable wattage technically is the kick, and that's just set to its maximum constantly. So yeah, I know a lot of guys on Facebook and stuff have been buying mechs, like 19s, KTSCs and all this kind of stuff. See how you go with it. When I first started, I was like, I don't really see the point of them, don't really see the fascination. But as time's passed, I kind of like, with a variable voltage, you change your voltage to suit your coil. I change my coil to suit my voltage now, so I know that my sweet spot for me is around sort of 0.8 to 1.2 ohms. I wrap 1 ohm coils. That's all I do. They'll last me about no. I've had K-Funs last me 5-6 days.
K-Fun, yeah.
And drippers are about the same, but to be honest, we abuse the drippers on one here because obviously we're doing reduced reviews and whatever else. They are abused, so they do go through quick. But realistically, a coil 3 days for me. But as we've said in other videos, the Canthils cost us 10p at best if I'm using stuff that I've bought in small quantities, and the wicks 20-30p a go. So it cost me around about £1 a week, which is cheaper than that hitting the V3 is for crying out loud. So I'm well happy with that. Yeah, just loving mechs. So I know a lot of you guys have got them on the way or already using them. Let us know how you're finding them. See how you go, because you're still kind of variable voltage, you know.
I use both. I use my variable voltage more, but that's only because what I've got at the moment is I'm using a lot of cargo tanks, and they're the high-end 3 ohm cargo tanks. So variable voltage is preferable to it since I don't have a kick to put in my mechanical.
You can borrow one.
Yeah, but that's no point, is there? Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of still mainly on variable voltage. When I do wrap one low, it's not like it's a problem because I just stick it on my mechanical. I've got both. I have the best of both worlds. I've got my mechanicals and I've got a variable voltage.
There you go. I think you do eventually fall on one side of the fence or the other. I think everyone will.
Yeah. I think I'm still on the fence at the moment because I will just quite happily use both. But then again, I'm not as picky as him when it comes down to it. I will tailor to either to the coil or to the device. It doesn't bother me.
See, I want that same all the time. I do. I want the same rate all the time. I get it to that sweet spot and I just want it there every day. Whereas Worm's still experimenting a bit more than me, like happy to give things a go, whereas I'm like, nah, I'm ignorant, I'm comfortable with what I know and that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
It's one of them ones. What else have we got? Ooh, I think the only thing we've got left really is that. The MHRA proposition to the EU to legislate e-cigs and so on and so forth. Any guys who weren't aware, I imagine you all are. It's gone through apparently. Now, it's due to be implemented in
2016.
2016. So we've got two years yet.
2 and a bit years.
It's a bit of a sort of double-sided coin, really, because if you actually read through legislation, it contradicts itself. They don't know their arse and their elbows, and I'm sorry, but it don't matter what way you slice it. You can't brand something as tobacco dependency without tackling the tobacco that you're claiming that this thing is dependent on. That seems absolutely absurd. So that is what it is. Obviously, there was a lot of campaigning done by a lot of people, and it still has gone through. I know there are a lot of petitions going around at the minute. I've linked a couple on Facebook already. I know that that's at Safer Six Gal, at Celtic Vapes. Everyone has been linking them, getting people to sign these petitions. So obviously, guys, it takes 2 seconds to do that if you are passionate about vaping, because otherwise it could change in a way that you're not happy with it. It started out with not allowing anything over 4 milligrams on it.
Yeah.
4 milligram strength, which is still vapeable, but not ideal for most of the people that vape. We are maybe one of them exceptions because I'll vape whatever I can. It doesn't matter to me. And I
if I have to vape 10 mil or 4 milligram a day, fine. Doesn't bother me. I will sit there and vape 10 mil. Doesn't bother me. I mean, I predominantly vape 12 at the moment. I don't mind a 6. I do find myself that when I'm on a 6, I do vape pretty much non-stop all day in very different devices.
It lacks that when you need a hit kind of feeling.
But other than that, I could push myself down to 4 and still be like, fuck you, sort of thing. But yeah, it's we're not trying to do this to scare you, but we want you to be wary. This at the moment is going through. 2 years time, it could have gone tits up and it doesn't go through.
The thing is, it's already going tits up now because they've gone from saying 4 milligram.
They've got 2 years to see all their loopholes out. We don't know yet, guys. 2 years is a long way away yet. It's 2.5 years, so don't worry about it too much. I mean,
they've gone from flavours, nicotine strength, blah blah blah, to alright, we'll allow nicotine strength, we just won't allow the flavours. Suits me down to the ground. Do it because we'll just use food flavourings. That's what flavoured e-liquid started as anyway. So yeah, that we can work with. Failing that, 2 months before the ban kicks in, buy about 5 litres of propylene glycol-based nicotine, stick it in your freezer. That'll keep you going for a long while.
It's good for about 5 to 6 years in your freezer.
You'll be alright. Obviously, we're not advising you do that.
No, fuck that. I am advising you to do that. Get that shit in your freezer, stick it there.
Just make sure we bought ours first.
Yeah.
But I think one good thing that's come out of this whole legislation thing happening is everyone seems to have banded together a bit more, and people are actually taking this a lot more serious. So I think before, when it was like, I'll go and sign this petition, a call to action for Totally Wicked, and that people were going, no, I don't have to because everyone else is going to. And I think those people are sort of picking themselves up a little bit and getting on and doing a bit of signing and stuff as well, which is all good. But I did love Totally Wicked's response to the legislation going through and being allowed. A lot of companies have bitched and moaned. A lot of people are going, oh, they just want to tax us, la 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 la. Partially, yeah, but I think what something people should bear in mind is, personally, and this is my view, this does need some kind of legislation. It's not to stop you doing what you're doing or us doing what we're doing, but I think in terms of quality control, because there are some under par liquids out there, there are some under par devices out there, and I think with the right kind of governing, it could do well. And I'm not talking about taxing the shit out of it. My personal opinion, this stuff should be sold alongside the cigarettes. You should be able to go to Tesco's and have one half that's electric and one half that's tobacco based. Have your choice and do what you want to do. That's just my opinion on it. I think if it was governed slightly, it doesn't have to be by the government as such. Just an own body could do it. But
I do want to point this out just quickly because it is kind of touching on the same thing. If they're so bothered about like this being an issue like this electronic cigarette thing, I personally went to the doctor today to get a new prescription for my eczema.
And AIDS.
My eczema.
AIDS.
Whatever. But I walked into the pharmacy, went up to the till, and guess what I see? Electronic cigarette case full of electronic cigarettes.
Yeah, but
pharmacists are selling them.
That's the idea, though. They want them to be available through pharmacists.
Yeah, but like it's just, if they're already selling them now, they're already available. Why does there need to be legislation to say that they're available only from there? Well, they're already doing it. If you want to buy those cheap cigarette lookalike things from there, go ahead. If we want to do what we're doing, leave us to it. We're quite happy. We're adults. We can choose what we want to put into our bodies. You know, we're not idiots. If we want to put poison in there, we will put poison in there. If we want to kill ourselves, we will kill ourselves.
One of them things. But yeah, anyway, getting back to Totally Wicked's response. I don't know if everyone knows this or not. But basically, what Totally Wicked did when this legislation went through was quick as a bullet, turned around and shipped an electronic cigarette to everyone in the EU. Just shipped it to them. Well, if you think there's a problem, why don't you go and let us know what you think. I think that's fantastic. I really do. I think that was a wicked strategy, if you like, to take it on, because a lot of people wouldn't have looked and wouldn't have known what they are. And if it feels Totally Wicked, go, fine, we'll take a little bit of a loss, which we just face it to them is nothing. Chuck out a few hundred e-cigs like kits. And let's see if the people who are actually making some of these decisions, who smoke, are willing to give it a go for themselves and see exactly what it is that they're trying to govern. Because this is part of the problem, is they haven't got a clue what they're trying to govern. They haven't got a clue. Let's face it, like those of you guys that are watching these videos are watching them because either you enjoy them or because you're trying to learn something, or which is the same reason that we watch videos on YouTube. Either we enjoy them or we want to learn stuff. They haven't done this. They haven't done that. They don't know anything about anything. And it's just they try and sort of throw their 2 cents in, pardon me guys, sorry, and throw their 2 cents in, knowing very little about what is actually going on. I mean, I read a post recently about how electronic cigarettes contain formaldehyde because of the propylene glycol that's in them. Yeah, but in the same way that tuna contains mercury, alright? Yes, if you sit there and eat 45 cans of tuna, maybe you're going to get mercury poisoning. Well, it's true. It is true. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, your propylene glycol may contain formaldehyde, but it's also in asthma inhalers. It has been for 60 years. I've never heard someone going, I've got formaldehyde poisoning from my asthma inhaler. All right.
Don't get me wrong, we do use this a little bit more than you would in an inhaler, but still.
Of course. But at the end of the day, I did read an article, pound for pound, said if you use this like a cigarette, the formaldehyde that's in this is less than half of what you'd get from using one cigarette. So if you smoke, say, 40 cigarettes a day, which will take you, what, 5 minutes to smoke a cigarette?
Yeah.
So 5 minutes by 40 is 200 minutes, which is 3 hours and 20 minutes. So if you did this consistently for 7 hours, near enough, makes no difference, in a day, you'd then get the same amount of formaldehyde that you were getting from 40 cigarettes. If that makes sense. This moth is doing my head in. It's just, look, but that's kind of what it equates to. 7 hours worth of this in one day. We vape a lot, and we're only just a touch over 7 hours, realistically, on a day where we're doing fuck all and doing filming. You don't sit there doing, I mean, even when we do that, It's not 7 hours straight. Even if we're awake for 18 hours, we're only vaping for say 6 of them. So
to be honest, I'm a lot less than that at the moment.
Yeah, with me, you're vaping a bit less than a minute, but
yeah.
I'm taking in less formaldehyde than when I was smoking, and that is the only thing that's relatable to the smoking, apart from the nicotine, which, depending on what strength you're using, could be taken less, could be taken in more. But they're claiming the nicotine's fine. It's just scare tactics. You read an article that says electronic cigarettes contain formaldehyde. You don't also say, by the way, so do normal cigarettes, as well as 3,999 other chemicals and harmful toxins and God knows what else. People will see that and go, oh, electronic cigarettes are bad. Well, yes, in a way they are. If you can not do anything, then fair enough. If you're trying to quit, then staying on electronic cigarette isn't ideal. If you're trying to quit.
Using the patches or the chewing gum, whatever the doctors have prescribed you.
Yeah, if you're doing that all the time, if you're doing that all the time, if you did that every day, yeah, they'd say you need to, like if you're trying to quit, you need to reduce.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, myself, we're not doing this because we wanted to quit smoking. We do this because we love smoking, and we wanted a replacement, which now we are a hell of a lot more passionate about than we were ever about smoking. Yeah. But it's one of them stupid things that stupid people do. And unfortunately, we have to jump through a few hoops in order to make sure that we get to maintain what we do. Realistically, I don't think they can govern the mods and the tanks and the ATIs, and even if they could, worst case, it's a battery with some wire connections going through a resistance wire that is sold for many purposes, not just electronic cigarettes. I will build a mod and build up a nice little collection of stuff over the next 2 years, just in case. But I can see it as very, 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 very unlikely that they're going to govern.
I don't see how they can.
I see it's going to change slightly, but I can't see it changing anywhere near as dramatically as people are expecting it to when they hear about the legislation. Because honestly, I'd imagine by the time that comes into power, if it does, it's going to be mere resemblances of what the legislation actually is at the minute. Because
they try to throw so much on there, and it's just not going to happen.
It's not. I mean, I know that people are saying, "Oh, well, there's only been limited research." Yes, there have only been limited research, which is one of the reasons why some kind of governing would be good, because it means they're going to pump money into it, which means that the more that they know, the more that we know. Yes, prices are going to go up, of course, they always do. They're always going to. No matter what we do, prices are going to rise. Even if it's just through inflation, they're going to rise. But when push comes to shove, I'll pay twice the amount I am now to enjoy the same thing if I have to. And I think a lot of people out there feel the same way. It's as simple as that. If you're vaping nicotine-free juice, don't worry, we can teach you how to mix that, no problem. There's nothing they can do to govern that. Simple as it is.
You can buy it all from eBay.
It is, I mean...
all of it. You can buy the vegetable gluten, you can buy the propylene glycol, and you can buy your flavourings.
You can't buy your nicotine.
But if you're doing nicotine,
yeah, well, that's very true. I didn't even think about what I just said. Everything from eBay is lovely, cheap. Lovely and cheap stuff. I was going to go in the same, but I'm not going to. Just because I'm not going to. Basically, what else have we got going?
I think we are very close to ending. It is like an hour and...
It's got to be an hour and a half by now, because we're 22 minutes into this. You've cut it twice.
Yeah, one was intentional, one was not.
One was not. Fanning about with a Vamo, Dan, that is definitely your fault. Dan did tell us to big up the Zeus on his behalf, so big up the Zeus on Dan's behalf. And again, like we said, we just spoke to Neil, and obviously we speak to quite a lot of guys on Facebook. Thank you all very much for doing what you do and putting up with us. Hopefully we are helpful in some manner or fashion. If not, again, hopefully if nothing else, entertaining. Is there nothing else you want to touch on?
I don't think so. I mean,
pretty much covered everything.
We have pretty much covered
everything. We have got a few more reviews to do, guys. Like so on Facebook, before we did this video, we put a post up saying, what do you want to see? Some ATI mod reviews, or do you want us to do a flapping video? And people spoke, and this is what they got. It was one of them days where we are happy to do either. So we'll do the mods and ATIs tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, yeah.
But
how many we got? 3?
A new mod, a new ATI, a new Clearo, a new battery.
Yeah, well, one of them is 2 videos in one, isn't it?
One, yeah, 2 of them in one. So there's 3 videos there, and then obviously your 2 things. We'll do them. We'll do them. We have got a couple of things that weren't bought ages ago. We just haven't got around to reviewing. We will do those, but I think we'll do a couple of giveaways as well when we do those, just because we can.
Probably on the end of my 2 things that I bought, because obviously the other videos are being sent to us for free, and we have to do proper job.
Semi-professional as always.
Well, as we get.
As professional as you're going to get from us, yeah. Loads of other stuff happening as well, guys, but you'll see that as it does progress. Are we done?
I think so.
Thank Christ, like my arse is numb.
Yours lot must be too, because you didn't even get the break that we had where he got up, walked around, sorted out his testicles.
It's not good. It's not good. They're starting to fuse in this heat. And end up with one ball like the worm.
Singular testicle for the
Singular
win.
testicle. Any random items of the day for the last bit of this video? Because you've done a couple, you might have chucked another one in, no?
I'm just having a look around. What have we got?
Honestly, you can't see what I'm looking at, but there's so much random shit at the minute. It's just unbelievable. I don't know how it's struggling.
1 hour timer for your food. 300 free pizzas.
Where did you get that?
On my desk.
Honestly, what kind of respectable twist?
Extra ice chewing gum.
Not even 30. He's got a quicker timer.
Sunglasses.
Any more? Any more?
I don't know. You got anything? You got any random items?
I don't do random items. I'm random enough as it is.
A marigold glove. Oh yes.
Gives you an example of the amount of random crap that is sat around.
A room of many, many things.
Many, many things.
Colander we use for washing out our stuff. This is the mesh colander that we use.
I really don't know what to say. Ooh. Oh Christ.
I've rolled a piece of paper which has an e-bod in, which is slightly leaked because I was in my pocket.
Is it broke?
No, it's just
All right.
come a little bit apart.
Does that not mean it's broken?
No, it's
Oh, right.
repairable.
Oh, right, okay, so it's temporarily disabled.
Yes.
Right, I think we're there.
Are we?
Are we? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think we're there, but if you don't, then we'll keep going. Bank statement, just make sure his bank details aren't on it.
Statement.
Complete. Oh! Where the fuck did that come from?
A magnifier.
Well, that's
Just
honestly,
for those
guys. I mean, Dan in particular, you who said you like the random item geese. Honestly, just come round and look at the amount of random crap on this. This is just an example of what kind of crap is lying around here.
My spotty pen. It is a Parker pen. A proper Parker. Look at that beast.
I really don't know what to say. Really do not know what to say.
You said random items. I'm doing random items.
I said item. Not.
I swear you said items.
Well, it's items now, whether I want it to be or not, isn't it?
Bubble wrap.
Just honestly, who has this kind of crap? Do you know what I mean? In one location. It's like someone's merged a kitchen with a bathroom and crashed it into a bedroom.
Peri-peri chicken, pot noodle.
Right, I think we're done. I can't tolerate any more of this random item bullshit. Right, thank you very much for watching. Our sincere gratitude for you bothering to take the time to watch this and any other videos that you have done. And obviously, Facebook and Twitter will be down there if you want to come and have a word with us.
And Dan, you best write a list of all the random items, since I've done them all for you, mate.
Yeah.
I want a list of them. Just make sure you watch them.
If we don't get a list, then it proves that you didn't watch it. Therefore, why was you asking us questions? But it is what it is. Anyway, anything you want to ask us, guys, just drop it in the comments. Come up on Facebook. We're less on Twitter and more on Facebook. But if you want to just stick it in the comments, it's totally up to you. We don't really care. We'll answer you wherever way.
Whenever we see it, we'll answer.
Indeed, one of us will get back to you. I think we're pretty much done. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been Mr. Proton. It's been the Worm. See you soon.
See you soon.